What if I told you there exists a single verse in the Bhagavad Gita that is more powerful than any mantra, any philosophy, any meditation you've ever heard? A verse that can set your soul free or destroy your life completely, not because the words are wrong, but because your mind decides how those words live inside you. Also, the same verse, in the wrong mind, can become poison. For centuries, this verse has echoed in temples, been carried on the lips of saints, whispered under the breath of sages. Yet in Kaliyug, the age we are living in right now, 99% of people are not ready to hear it. And maybe you aren't either. But if you dare to stay till the end of this video, you might just be among the rare 1% who are. What if I told you the most dangerous battlefield of Kaliyug is not outside you, but inside your own mind? Every scroll, every like, every comparison is a war, and 99% are losing it. Not because they are weak, but because they have forgotten the weapon that Krishna, I handed to you. One verse, one instruction, so sharp, so absolute, that it can either free you or destroy you. But here's the truth nobody tells you. You cannot touch this verse unless you are ready to bleed, because it demands the one thing humans protect the most, their ego. This is not a story from the past. This is your test, right now. One line from me can still shake the foundation of your existence. And today, you will hear it. The only question is, will it liberate you or will it expose you? Kaliyug is not a story in the scriptures. It is here. It is now. It is the world you are scrolling through. Here, greed dresses like ambition, and people clap for it. Lies trend faster than truth, because the truth is too heavy for a hashtag. Faith has been packaged and sold. Guru turn into celebrities. Devotion becomes a brand. Look at how you define worth today. A number of followers, a curated profile picture, a bank balance with more zeros than your neighbor. This is not freedom. This is slavery with golden chains. This is not the age of silence. This is the age of noise. Not the age of patience, but the age of instant gratification. In this battlefield of distractions, my words arrive like a sword, like lightning, sharp, cutting, demanding. Give up all varieties of paths and surrender only unto me. I will free you from all reactions. Do not fear. Sounds simple? It isn't, because surrender is the one thing the ego cannot digest. And now, the verse, the shloka that I spoke to Arjuna, my most piercing command. Sarva dharman parityajya, mamekam sharanam vraj, aham tvam sarva papebhyo, mokshaishyami ma shucha. Abandon all varieties of dharma and just surrender unto me alone. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Sounds comforting, right? But in reality, it is the hardest command ever given to mankind, because here lies the trap. The words are divine, but the mind of Kaliyug is corrupt. When these two meet, surrender turns into self-deception. Do you know what happens in Kaliyug when restless minds hear this verse? Let me tell you, when a man blinded by greed says, "Whatever I do, God will forgive me. Why worry?" A man drowning in laziness hears it and says, "Why should I try? Krishna will handle everything." A manipulator whispers, "Don't think, don't question. Just follow me. I represent Krishna." This is how the verse, meant to free, becomes a cage. Fire gives light to the wise, but fire burns the foolish who play with it. So before you accept this verse, you must ask yourself, do I seek truth or an excuse? Do you see the danger? My words are fire. Fire gives light when handled with care, but destroys everything when abused. This is the disease of Kaliyug. People use my wisdom not to change themselves, but to protect their ego. They seek shortcuts, excuses, and loopholes. But my child, I did not give this verse to free your ego. I gave it to you so that you can burn it. Listen carefully, my beloved. True surrender is not escape. It is not abandoning your duties. It is not running away from family or pretending your sins don't matter. It is fulfilling every duty, but without pride, without fear, without claiming ownership. You still work, you still love, you still struggle, but you no longer whisper, "It is me who controls everything." You walk boldly, knowing I carry the weight. You love fully, without the fear of being hurt. You serve sincerely, without the hunger for recognition. This is surrender, and this is freedom. But for the restless ego, surrender feels like death. And that is why only 1% truly walk this path. So now I ask you, when you hear my verse, what do you feel? Relief? Or excuse? Does it tempt you to say, "I can relax, do nothing, Krishna will do it all"? Or does it awaken a quiet strength in you that whispers, "I will still walk, but Krishna carries me"? Your answer reveals everything. Whether you belong to the 99% or the 1%, I, Krishna, I am not asking you to abandon responsibilities. I am asking you to abandon ownership, to do your duty without the poison of expectation, to love without the fear of loss, to serve without the hunger for recognition. This surrender is not weakness. It is the greatest act of courage. Because to drop the ego is harder than to fight 100 wars. The 99% can't do it. Because deep down, you still love yourselves more than you love me. But the 1%, they discover freedom. When you drop that heavy backpack called I, me, mine, life suddenly feels lighter. Your struggles remain, your duties remain, but the burden of ownership vanishes. Think about your own life. Every time you've said, "What if I fail? What if they leave me? What if I lose everything?" That's the ego speaking. My verse is the antidote. It whispers, "Do, love, serve, trust. The outcome is mine, not yours." This is not escape. This is not an excuse. This is alignment with the divine. Listen carefully, my beloved. When I say, "Surrender to me," I am not giving you permission to run away. I am giving you the courage to stay. Without the chains of ego, true surrender does not mean dropping your responsibilities. It means carrying them, but without the burden of I. The mother who cooks for her children with love, not with complaint, she has surrendered. The father who works tirelessly, but offers every effort to me without pride, he has surrendered. The student who studies not only for marks but with the faith, whatever result comes, it is his will. He has surrendered. Do you see the difference? Surrender does not weaken you. It makes you unstoppable. Because the moment you stop claiming ownership, the weight lifts. Imagine this. You're carrying a heavy backpack for miles. Your shoulders ache. Your breath breaks. And then suddenly, someone stronger says, "Give it to me. I'll carry it." Would you not feel free? That is what surrender feels like. But in Kaliyug, we don't want to let go. We cling to control. We chase approval, numbers, applause. We call it ambition. But really, it is fear in disguise. Fear that if we don't control, we will collapse. And that is why 99% cannot handle this verse. Not because they don't believe in me, but because they still believe more in yourself. Now I ask you, are you strong enough to face the hardest battle of all? Not with swords, not with armies, but with your own ego. You can lift weights in the gym, but can you drop the weight of pride? You can run marathons for medals, but can you run one day without craving applause? You can argue, fight, and prove yourself right 1,000 times. But can you stay silent once and let my word be right instead of your ego? This is the challenge of surrender. It is not weakness. It is the most powerful rebellion in Kaliyug. Because today, rebellion is not in anger, not in greed, not in noise. Rebellion is in stillness, in silence, in saying, "I am not the doer, he island." The world will laugh at you. They will call you foolish, lazy, delusional. But what they won't understand is this. You are not running away from life. You are walking into it fully free. The man who surrenders is the man no fear can enslave. The woman who surrenders is the woman no failure can break. This is not escape. This is strength in its purest form. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow and you carry no baggage of, what if I fail? You love without fear of betrayal. You give without expecting a return. You act without pride in success or shame in defeat. That is freedom. That is power. That is surrender. And only 1% will dare to live like this. So now the question remains, will you be among the 99% who hear my words and twist them into comfort, into excuses, into laziness? Or will you dare to be the 1%, the ones who live it? The battlefield is not Kurukshetra anymore. It is your mind. Every thought you cling to, every fear you feed, every pride you polish, that is your enemy. And surrender is your weapon. Remember, surrender is not running from duty. It is doing your duty without chains, without fear, without ego. I never asked Arjuna to drop his bow and sit quietly. He asked him to fight, but without ownership of victory or defeat. That is surrender. And if you can live even one day like this, doing your work without stress of result, loving without fear of loss, standing tall without pride in your chest, then you will taste freedom that no money, no fame, no success can give. This verse is not for the weak, it is for warriors. And I am asking you today, will you fight this battle of the ego, or will you stay enslaved to it? The answer decides which side of history you belong to, the 99% or the 1%. If you felt a fire inside you while listening, it is me calling you, not by accident, not by chance. This video found you for a reason, so don't let it end here. Stay with me, walk with me, because this is only the beginning of your journey. Together, we will fight Kaliyug. Together, we will rise, and together, we will win. Now, my beloved, close your eyes, place your hand over your heart. Feel every beat, every fear, every pride you've been holding on to. Now, let it go. Not because you must, but because your soul is calling you home. The weight you carried, your doubts, your ego, your endless "I must control everything." It was never yours to bear. Surrender it. Breathe and feel. Freedom. Stand tall, even if the world laughs. Love without hesitation. Serve without expectation. Move through life lightly, because the one who surrenders is untouchable, unstoppable, eternal.